We are the Hollywood Paranormal Detectives.
Oh my gosh, that intro gets me pumped every time, and then it just cuts. What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday night. It's not 8 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock, because we're talking to some homies from the East, and tonight we're going to be talking to my paranormal experience. Not your paranormal experience, my paranormal experience, our fellow Paraflix family. But first, he was a little hurt last week when I brought Mandy Maisie up first. So bringing him up, the Batman to my Robin, or the Wonder Twin to my Activate, or I don't know. But here's Brian.
I'm so sensitive.
See, you're still number one. And here's Boom. No, sorry, everybody. There's no Boom. Mandy was like, what? Boom. Here she is. I had a nice rap I did earlier to her. You know, you think you're getting crazy. Here comes Mandy Maisie.
How dare you?
No, I was acting like Boom was here, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you guys are thinking. Steve, you're wearing the Vulture City hat, and we haven't even gone to Vulture City Paracon this October, but we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there
Soon.
So let me introduce our guest so we can start talking about some of the crazy things that go bump in the night. He is the host of My Paranormal Experience and let me read all my notes, a self-taught filmmaker and the host of My Paranormal Experience. Here's Nathan.
Woo, hello.
I talk very fast, sir. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I get pretty excited when it comes to showtime. Nathan is not alone in his paranormal experience on Netflix. He also has Miss Beth with him. Hi, Beth.
Welcome.
Beth is muted.
Are you muted? Your microphone's muted.
I'm having
Warning.
issues hearing,
Okay.
so I was sorry.
It's all right. And they're not alone. They're also always joined by Mr. Scotty Dabbs. What's up,
Woo,
Scotty?
Hi, Scotty.
What's happening?
You guys, welcome to HPD Live. We're so happy to have you.
Got the whole gang.
Let's just get it started with just the wild card. All of you, whoever wants to tell me how you all met. What brought these three, and I know there's more to the team, what brought you guys together?
Me and Nathan have known each other since we were like 15, 16 years old. But that was well before any of the paranormal stuff ever happened. Paranormally, though, pretty much I had to beg Nathan to bring me on to some investigations. And then he finally did, and here we are. Yeah.
I
met Beth through Nathan.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Scotty are like this, man. Like, we went through high school together, and you know, we were best friends before even the passion for paranormal and filmmaking. But Beth and I, we've known each other for a good number of years as well. We've investigated with each other since day one.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, we all have about, you know, the same amount of time spent together, just different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, very much a family.
Good. And where did it all start for you? What was the first location that you three came together and tested your paranormal legs out?
Ooh, man, that's a hard one. Like, first location we all came together for.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a really hard one. If I had to say, like, first real intense investigation was Skellytown School.
Oh,
If
I'd have to agree.
Yeah, like, that's going to be the one that really had us all together. It was Scotty's first real, like, intense, in the dark, fully production, full episode filming investigation. And so that was kind of like what led us to, you know, that. And that was a really fun experience because, you know, not only was it his first time to be like, behind the camera and investigating with us, but he captured one of the craziest, shocking pieces of footage I think we've ever caught on the show.
Oh,
So I mean, and I'm not going to give that away. I'm going to let everyone watch the show to see.
I was like, no, what is it?
Yeah, I can't give it away.
God damn it.
Let me ask y'all. Okay, have y'all seen our show yet?
I've seen the Paraflix shows.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So if y'all seen the show, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. Okay.
But that's kind of like, that was the first location that we went to, like, as a team, and actually did a production and investigation as a team.
Yeah.
So
I understand the difference. I know what you mean, because like sometimes you go with people and it's like tourism. You're just sort of walking around the dark, hanging out. But then once you're like rolling and you're like on stage, like your questions matter, what you're doing matters, you're documenting. It's like more important.
oh yeah,
Well, the first few investigations I did,
yeah.
it was Nathan and Beth were with a different team. So that's kind of how it was for me. I was more of just that kind of tag along who was just kind of walking around in a dark, abandoned, creepy building. And then, like Nathan said, as far as my paranormal experience goes, our first real investigation as a team with all three of us, this was before our other member had joined, that was like our first real dive into our paranormal experiences, basically.
Yeah. Now, are you guys equipment based, or either of you, feel sensitive, or how do you? What are your investigation styles?
Beth is the sensitive one. She can claim all she wants to, but she is sensitive.
Well, I feel like I probably recently just started developing it, or really, noticing stuff with myself. But I have been very hesitant to claim it, because I think it's a big thing to take on and use it during investigations and stuff like that. So it's a lot to take on. So I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of starting to see stuff, because that will come up and I'm like, wow, like I can't believe I said that, and then it happens, or it ends up showing up in an investigation or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, Mandy is our medium, and she's the first medium we've ever like accepted in the group and kind of made her part of our family. And Mandy, like, what can you tell Beth about like that next step she could take?
I mean, it's fucking hard. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, the first time I started doing it openly and claiming like out loud in front of people on camera, it's scary, because it's like, are people going to believe me? Are they going to think I'm full of shit? But like,
responsibility, isn't it?
It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
Nobody understands except for the medium themselves. And mediums in the paranormal community already get not the best rep, And so it's a huge responsibility. But I don't know. It's one of those things where you just kind of got to trust. I mean, you're seeing stuff for a reason. You're getting stuff for a reason. And the more you trust yourself, the less you're going to start to care about how you may look or appear to other people.
Right.
But it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because I've always said a medium can change the whole direction of the investigation. If she feels a name or hears a name, all your questioning now goes towards that name, and whatever spirit you could be attempting to make contact with, you could stop talking to, because that has directed you. But with, you know what I mean? But with a medium that, are we watching?
I'm sorry, Scotty's gonna go.
Scotty's wife, Perla, she's hilarious.
Hi, Carla.
And so-
He was like, "Can I help you?"
She was like, "Can you see me?" And I was like,
I'm sorry.
"They
Yeah.
can."
It's okay. Brian has dogs. I got kids and wives that could attack at any moment.
Yeah, same. I got a 5-year-old daughter, and you'll probably meet her before we're done.
Okay.
Kara's really good about stuff too. She does a lot of writing and stuff. Just recently, I've kind of been feeling some. I don't want to say a spirit in my home. Some things in my home with me, and a couple of things are happening. And me and Kara got to talking one day, or just a couple of days ago. And she said, well, you have a spirit in your home that's a protecting spirit. So it's somebody, and she said, I can she said, told me she could see a blue shirt and khaki pants, and he was a tall, slender man. Yep. And so I showed her a couple of pictures of, ancestors or people that I know are my ancestors. And I didn't say anything else. I said, does any of these men look like who you're seeing? And she pulled out a picture of my great-grandfather. He's full-blooded Choctaw Indian. And so, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool if it's true, if she's right, if he's here to protect me.
She's totally right, because when I draw, when we do these, and I was drawing a very tall, slender man that I could see standing behind your right shoulder, who's very protective and very observing and watching over. So I
love it.
Agree with her. Yeah.
Cool.
And it feels recent too. Very recent.
I've just noticed probably in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've noticed just the feeling, nothing creepy or scary, but when somebody's in the room with you, you can just feel their vibe or whatever it is. So
yeah, stepping up to
Mandy, would you say as a medium, that's one of the first experiences you have, that you start finding your guides?
Yeah, people will show up for you. Family members. Most of the time, it's family members that that will step up first, but they'll start making them. As you start to develop and trust yourself, they'll start to show themselves more.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think
So
you'll find some more visitors in your home, I think, over the next couple months.
Accept it, Beth, and it'll be a benefit. It'll be such a plus to the team, I bet.
I hope so.
Well, let's go to how did some of this start? So who wants to tell us their very first paranormal experience, the first thing that made them even become a fan of ghosts and ghost hunting? Not even just ghost hunting. Scotty, you're up. What's your first experience?
He's ready.
They always nominate me to do it, which my first experience is Nathan's first experience too.
Oh,
I saw a little bit more than he did that night. So, and these two guys have heard the story probably a million times, but not everyone.
It's a cool story though.
So,
I want to hear it.
Back when me and Nathan first met, we had this certain group of friends we'd hang out with. It was 5 of us, 4 dudes, and then one of our buddies had a girlfriend. We all kind of met through skateboarding, and they all lived in LaForce, Texas, which is just a short drive from where we're based out of. We were all hanging out one night, and we'd been really into the show Ghost Hunters on A&E, kind of when they were really starting the big wave of paranormal TV,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you were sitting there, it was 10:30, 11 o'clock, it was getting pretty late at night. We were all getting kind of bored, and I can't remember who it was, but one of us piped up and was like, hey, let's just go out and investigate something. Let's go do what they do.
Nice.
One of our other buddies was like, well, my house is haunted. We can go there. At first, we were like, dude, whatever, you're shitting us, because he was kind of a jokester.
Yeah.
He was known in the group as the one who liked to mess with everybody. So we're like, whatever, man. No, it's not. He's like, no, I swear to God it is. Let's go. We all agreed to go. And LaForce ain't even that big. There's maybe 300 people in LaForce. So it could have been a 1-minute walk, but we drove there anyway.
Yeah.
And we get there, and no one else was at his house. His dad and his little brother all lived in a town, or didn't live, but they were in the town over, either staying with somebody or at work. So we know that there was nobody at the house. And we go in there and we all pile into the master bedroom. and we all lay down on this mattress that's sitting in the center of the room. And then over on the whatever, left side, right side, whatever it was, there was a tall dresser. And then in front of the room, there was a small dresser that had his TV up on it. We all lay down on that bed. We're sitting there and we're asking, the simple questions. We did the whole knock once for yes, knock twice for no. And we'd get responses. We'd hear a knock, either answering yes or no. And it took us a little bit to really kind of get the feeling of being around or with a spirit or whatever. Because for me, and I'm sure for the rest of everybody, we were like, it's gotta be our buddy messing with us. He's got his hand underneath of the mattress and he's the one who's tapping. So we go through a series of questions. I can't remember all what they were. It was the simple, like, hey, is there anyone in here with us? What are you? Is this house really haunted? Just, stuff like that. And then one of us asked how many spirits are in this house. And it was silent for a little bit, and then we got a knock under the mattress. It felt like they were coming up through the box springs.
Like hard, like pow, pow.
Yeah. I mean, they were, you could feel the, bed vibrate per knock,
Wow.
But it happened once, and then it was silent, and then another one. And then, after that, it just kept getting faster and faster and faster until the best way I can describe it is it kind of sounded like it was an AR-15 going off.
Oh, my gosh.
And the same guy that asked the question yelled, stop, and everything stopped. Now, I'm going to kind of conjuncture away from the story a little bit and give a little back history on LaFours. There's a lot of rumors that say LaFours was built over Native American land and that there's actually Native American graves underneath of the town. So could that have, I speculate, could that have been all those Native American spirits coming through and saying, hey, we're here or whatever. But anywho, back to the story.
Wow.
After all that happened, we had, he started to get a little freaked out at that point, And of course, everybody that was there, this was our first experience with any of this stuff. And we're sitting there, kind of quiet, nothing's really going on, and I hear Nathan say, hey, did somebody throw something? And everyone was like, nah, we didn't move. So now we're really freaked out, especially Nathan. Nathan just had something hit him in the leg. We couldn't see. It was pitch black. He's tripping. He jumps up and turns the light on, and that tall dresser that was sitting on that other side of the bed, there was a cowboy hat that sat on top of it that had gotten thrown off the dresser and I guess had hit Nathan in the leg and then rolled over onto the floor.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
So 16-year-old kids, never experienced the paranormal, were tripping balls. We're freaking out. And we go, we're trying to run out of the house or whatever, we want to get out. But a part of me is like, hey, what if that was our buddy who threw that hat and he's just not owning up to it? So I go back into the bedroom and I'm like, if there really is a spirit here, I want you to take this cowboy hat off the floor and I want you to put it back up on the dresser. We're going to leave for 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to come back. And if you really are here, you'll have that hat back up on the dresser. We leave, we're driving around, we all pile into the small S10 two-seater pickup truck. We're just cruising to town, kind of trying to forget about everything. About 10 minutes go by, we go back to the house and we go into the room and sure enough, that cowboy hat's sitting back on top of that dresser.
Wow.
And I mean,
What?
no one's in the house. So
that's it.
We see
and you're hooked
that,
from there.
and we're like, oh, fuck, no, man. Hell no.
Yeah.
I started crying. Like, I'm freaking out. I started crying. And as I'm trying to leave the house, I'm walking down the hallway, and there's a bunch of family photos that was hung up in their hallway at the time. And as I'm walking, I see this shadow dart through one of the picture frames, and that makes me turn my head around. And as I'm turning my head around, up at the top of his stairs, I see a 7-foot tall shadow with red beaming eyes just staring down at me.
Holy.
Sorry. So that, I don't know, you know, that I froze for a minute, just probably out of just pure fear. I was just like, what am I looking at right now? And then I leave the house and I try to forget about it, but it followed me for a good 3 months.
Really?
You know, I couldn't sleep at night. I just, during the daytime, it wasn't bad. Like, I felt fine during the daytime, but as soon as night fell, like everything, I was always on high alert. I was anxious all the time. I couldn't sleep. It took my mom going up to our local Catholic church and getting a rosary blessed that I would wear around my wrist for it to finally go away.
Oh, shit.
And then I spent probably a good 10 years trying to convince myself that the paranormal wasn't real, but deep in my mind, I knew it was because of what I've seen. And then I got really into ghost adventures, and I still to this day, I watch Zach and his crew almost daily. And then that's when I was hitting up Nathan every other weekend, like, hey man, I need to do this, dude. Like, I need to get into the paranormal game right now.
Because once you see it, you want to prove it.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to, like, see if I can't find that same entity and be like, hey man, you had a hold of me for a long time, but now you don't. Now I'm not afraid of you anymore.
Wow.
You know, just to kind of clear that up within myself.
Have you ever, like, so in that 3 months, was it always the same thing?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there were probably, you know, some nights, maybe even weeks where everything seemed normal. Like, and I don't know if I had any nightmares or not. I have a hard time remembering dreams anyway, but I just know that it was really difficult for me to, like, fall asleep and stay asleep. I would just stay awake till 3, 4 in the morning, even if I had school the next day or whatever. And then, as soon as I got that rosary blessed, you know, I mean, about a couple weeks later, everything went back to normal. Just like nothing ever happened, completely fine.
Now, Nathan, did you have any residuals from the same experience?
Absolutely.
Oh.
I'll tell you about it in a second. Sorry.
Someone has, I thought it was Brian. It sounds like
it's Brian.
Chewing.
Because when you were muted, it stopped.
Yeah, someone's crackling for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
tell me if it stopped.
All right.
It did stop.
Is Tika eating?
So
I thought it was me, but Carl was like, am I talking something goofy?
Well, he left. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he's fixing
It's
it.
probably Tika just chewing on something.
So Nathan, you had residuals from the same night.
yeah, well, no, not the same night. This happened a couple of months after.
I think it's because I sent it back.
Well, the thing is, Scotty saw the same shadow, right? He saw this shadow figure. He had this attachment.
Yeah.
And I was at the same house, same group of friends, but Scotty was not there for the night. I started smelling this dumpster juice type of a stench.
Ooh.
I don't know how to. It was the most foul thing I've ever smelled in my entire life. And you know, we all felt this very unsettling presence coming from the kitchen. And the kitchen was dark, but there was like a street light, like beaming in from the window, casting, you know, like a beam of light from the window.
Yeah.
Well, this shadow person was in that light, so it cast a silhouette. But it looked beast. It wasn't an apparition; it was a beast-like type of figure, and it had the same.
So it was so solid, it cast a light, like its own shadow.
And it had like the red beaming eyes that he talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only one that was brave enough to go and actually like walk up to this thing slowly. But the smell would get worse and worse. And finally, I just, was like, fuck it. I just ran into the kitchen, like jumped, flipped the light switch on, and that figure was gone. That quick. And after that, I haven't seen it again.
And did that coincide with anything with Scotty, or was that?
I feel like it was the same entity. I feel like it was the same thing that he experienced.
We were talking about it 2 days ago, and like that was the first time that I pieced it together, because the timeline of it kind of seems like right when I got that rosary and it finally left me alone, I feel like I probably sent it back to where it followed me from.
Oh, wow.
Right.
And that's the same time that's when Nathan saw it.
Now, would you say you've ever seen anything to that level since then?
I haven't. No.
No, I have not either.
Isn't it weird that like your first experience is always your best and you're always searching it?
Yeah.
And what
mine really fast. I saw Clothes Dance as a child.
And what pisses me off is that none of it was documented.
Exactly. Now, Beth, you weren't with the boys that night. So, Beth,
No.
what was your first experience?
Mine's not as exciting, but probably when I was about 11, the first spirit that I felt like I saw was my grandfather's dog.
Oh, wow.
He had passed a couple of months before, and I was just laying in their living room on a pull-out couch bed, and I looked towards my grandma's room, and she had her lamp on, but you could see the silhouette of their dog. It was a blue healer, so you could, very distinctive shape.
I have kids,
and
so I
then-
know a blue healer very well.
Yes.
Bluey.
Good. He was a great dog, so I can see him trying to maybe stick around and still protect my grandparents. So,
Wow.
and then right after that, probably about age of 13, me and some friends were out in the middle of the country, and we watched a smoky figure. It looked like it was running up a fence line, like out in the middle of the country, and it went past us and went behind the vehicle that we were in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is
So.
crazy. All right. So now you're all together. You've all met. You've got this vision. Nathan is your director and your producer. Tell me how My Paranormal Experience becomes a show and becomes the way you guys are presenting evidence. How does that happen? How does everything come together?
Well, to be honest with you, we were a part of another crew at the time, and I had a vision, and it became something where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put it to the side for a little bit, because we're still doing films with them, and we're on Amazon Prime at the time and all that stuff like that. So you know what, I'm just gonna put the team first before my own feelings or whatever. Well, a couple of years had passed, and I could not shake. There was a passion inside me that was burning so much that it was one of those types of things where I was like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
If I don't do it, it's gonna kill me here.
Yeah.
And it's a feeling that I could not ignore. And so what I did was, I told my wife about it, and she's like, you need to do this for yourself, but you need to include everyone else. Like, anyone who's got an experience. And the thing was, before I decided to showcase other people, I was like, I need to put myself on the line. I need to put something about me out there before anyone else. So what I decided to do was I made like a 10-minute sample video. There was no B-roll. It was all like sound effects in the background to kind of activate the imagination. Theater of the mind. And I told a very personal story about my grandmother. And I was very hesitant to release it, because I was like, man, people are going to think this is horrible. They're going to say, get the hell off the screen. I mean, they're going to think all kinds of crazy stuff. But I posted it, and the feedback was life-changing.
Oh, good.
I got a response from a lot of amazing fans and people locally that said, "Man, this is real. Like, this is what we need. Like, this is what the paranormal field needs. It's like, this is real emotion, an honest story. It's just real. This is what the paranormal field needs back in the paranormal."
Yeah.
So, at that time, I wanted to make a storytelling series, and Beth had called me up, said, "Hey, I want in." And I said, "Okay, like, that's fine." I said, "But you do need to understand, if you're in, you need to learn production." All right, cool. That sounds great. Let's do this. And then after that, Scotty I was like, "Hey, the time's come, man. I'm making my own show." And he's like, "I'm in. Let's do it. Like, there's no questions. Let's do this." And so that's when we got opportunities, like, doors were opening like crazy for the show. Things I never thought in a million years would happen were taking place. And we got to go to some amazing locations.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best thing we've gotten to do so far was the Gateway Between Worlds documentary.
That's so good.
Have y'all seen the film?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a story unlike anything we've ever told.
And such a unique location to just be there, just be out in public, kind of exposed and raw.
Yeah. And that story took place months and months before. Well, not months and months. It was like 4 or 5 months prior to the filming of that documentary. And I had never met that woman, Vanessa, prior to that.
Yeah.
But she had basically told me that there's a gate, that energy, and when you approach it, you'll experience something. And she said, "I know you're going to go to this gate, but mark my words, when you go, you're going to be approached. You're going to be greeted." And she basically predicted that I would experience these certain events. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And, after getting these results, just off my first approach, which was like the most raw that you can be when you're approaching a location, I honestly didn't think I would get anything from it. And when I reviewed the footage and the responses, these were not residual hauntings. These were intelligent conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent the crew all the evidence, and they're like, "Dude, you got something here. Like, I think you're onto something with this. Like, I don't know what told you, but this is like, we need to pursue this." And so I told her, I said, "Hey, like, we're making a film out of this. Your story is very important. You need to tell this." And getting Vanessa to agree to this took weeks, because she does not like to talk about, those types of things. And she had never been on camera before. So preparing her for that moment was step by step by step. But once we got her here and I got her on camera, like, oh my God, the story is unbelievable. And you could tell that her story alone, she's passionate. She's very biblical. And everything that she talked about connected. Like, it connected the dots. And, that's kind of like when we investigated, every investigation was more intelligent and more groundbreaking. In my opinion, it was.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens. As a team grows, your bond grows.
Oh, yeah.
And your energy as a group grows. You know what I mean? And the spirits can read that. Me, Brian, and Boom had this magic energy for a long time. And now with Mandy, like, it's been turned up to 11 because to add a medium, that's what I'm saying, Beth, work on that aspect of your craft and you'll enhance Scotty and Nathan so much.
Yeah,
I'll work on it.
Only if you want to.
Huh?
But only if you want to.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like I gotta open myself up and just let it go.
Yeah.
So
but filming the show in itself has been a hell of an adventure. with Scotty being like my childhood best friend, Beth being part of me since day one with the paranormal, it was a humongous learning experience. We got to figure out what's good, what's not, what we like, what's not, all those different things. And being a part of TV, it's really opened a lot of doors for us. And we're blessed with every opportunity that we get. We take nothing for granted. Yeah. Like even being here with you guys tonight is an amazing thing. But
yeah,
no, definitely. But whenever we started getting our show edited, when the first episode was starting to come out, that was when Natalie was like, come with us, and we finally signed with Paraflix, and we allowed her to take our series and do awesome things with it. And we're thankful to be on the network. And all I can say is, it's been a hell of a ride, but I firmly believe we're only scratching the surface of what is in store for my paranormal experience.
Yeah, I think with all our shows, it's sort of every show we do, I feel like this is it. This is an explosion. Like CNN is going to talk about our evidence tomorrow. Like something, I always feel like as we post a video that it's going to just blow the roof off something, and it never really does. But then it makes us, at the same time, I'm editing the next investigation, and I'm like, we got all these EVPs. This is going to blow the roof off it. This is going to be on CNN. Like I always kind of think we're pushing every time bigger and bigger with every show I see. I'm always, and I get jealous when I watch other shows. I'm like, damn, that's good evidence. Like,
yeah, me too. Yeah.
I love watching like people go to locations I never get to go to. I'm like, oh, you're so lucky.
But when it comes to the title, My Paranormal Experience, we want people to have a positive experience with the show. We want people to watch it and give an honest review, and to see what we have. You know what I mean? It's just bottom line. We want people to have fun with it and just have a positive experience with it.
Yeah.
Well, you're essentially bringing back the human element to paranormal with what you're doing, which I think is lacking in a lot of shows, is that human experience, the human element. Everyone's so focused on the location that we're forgetting the people that reside at those locations and what their experiences are.
That's what I tell Nathan all the time. That makes our show kind of unique, is that aspect. I tell him the same thing. I'm like, generally every like major paranormal show you watch, it's always like, yeah, they interview people, but they're not really interviewing the people. They're interviewing the location.
Exactly.
And then they spend most of the time just focusing on the haunting, where it's like, yeah, we do investigations too, and we focus on the haunting, but we're really wanting to get the stories out that these people have experienced, to let them know that, like, hey, I can go to a platform where I'm heard and believed, and I can finally get this off my chest.
Yeah.
Scott, I'm glad you mentioned that, because the whole point of My Paranormal Experience, the documentary, and the series, a lot of the paranormal shows out there are reenactment based, and I'm not bashing any shows. I'm just simply putting the facts out there. Yes, we do have reenactments. Like, I'm not going to say we don't, and we structure those out as we do so that they look good. But when it comes down to it, we're not just allowing our people to tell their story and having actors depict those events. We're actually going in and investigating their claim as their story unfolds. And we will show and showcase whatever evidence we get from that to validate, okay, like, I can see where you thought that. Like, we caught this that connects to your story here. And there's some things that we captured that we're like, well, I can't say it's paranormal or not. I don't know. It's unique. It's interesting. We're going to let you, the viewer, decide what y'all think about it.
Yeah.
because we're not out there to tell someone this is paranormal and that's what it is. Like, well, that's not what we're doing. But I will tell you this: like, there's been some stuff that we've captured. We cannot argue with it. Like, it might be like that's if that's not the proof of an afterlife, I don't know what the hell is. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
we've had stuff that's so good that we almost don't want to use it. Like the best is Brian, the knocks on the wall at the Queen Mary that were so loud. They were police banging on the door loud, and we still can't explain it. And it was on the wall, not on the door. There was no one in the hallway, and they were just boom, 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 and we're like, "Oh, we're in trouble. We're getting
kicked out." To look at and see, both sides of it, just like a partial dividing wall, and it sounded like he was breaking it in.
That's crazy.
And it's almost like that's too good. That seems fake. It's so good. It's so perfect.
Yeah, but that I'm glad Scotty brought that up because he really kind of hit it on the head there because that's what our series is about. We want to tell like real life paranormal stories. Not just from the celebrities, which nothing against celebrities, but like real life people, like everyday people. They go to a 9-to-5 job or just have a normal life.
Because they have the best experiences and the best stories.
Well, and you always say those people have nothing to gain.
Exactly.
They're not trying to get fame or money or anything from you. They're just sharing something that they've experienced that they almost want to get off their chest. Absolutely. And it's unlike a celebrity who's adding to their character. This is just a person that's had something that happened that it just needs to get out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. For me, like because most of the time when we're doing interviews, I'm standing just behind the camera, just monitoring it, making sure everything stays in focus, and that's my job. But just sitting there listening to a lot of these people just telling their stories, and you can hear their voice break, and they're actually getting emotional. Yeah. We've had people start crying, talking about stuff, and not too long ago, we did an interview with a lady, and we were in the building doing her interview where her experiences happened, and she was almost afraid to even tell her story out loud.
Oh, wow.
Because she was so nervous, and so was her boyfriend. So it's crazy to experience something like that.
Yeah.
Be part of it.
It's almost like two different kinds of investigation. Like, Nevada State Prison for us was HPD versus Nevada State Prison. And an investigation like this is like helping someone. It's like going along with someone's journey. The big locations are almost like it's us versus the location. How much evidence can we gather? But
you're like walking into a battle, basically.
Yeah, you're like going in. I'm going into this haunted place, ready to rock.
Well,
you guys do it nicely, the nice way.
It's kind of cool. Like I kind of like your approach there because I feel like in a way we kind of do a mixture of both. Because we're going in with a challenge as well, but we're also trying to help that person come to closure and put that part of their life in the past.
Yeah.
And and like for instance, I'm not sure if y'all saw seen the Gatekeeper episode.
Yeah.
But that was the closing point for the Gateway Between Worlds story.
Yeah.
And bringing Vanessa back to that experience, she was able to close that chapter. She was able to come to peace with that experience. And she said that whole experience with our team going there and telling that Gate story and getting her story out there, it really helped her like mentally like come to peace with it. And that's another thing. Like, we love we can help someone just put it to close.
Yeah.
So that's another thing we like to do about it. So
it's almost like you guys are the first people that will believe them and take them seriously and then validate them, and so they've got everything they need from you. That's great.
Right. But yeah, no, the series was mainly to be an outlet. We want to be an outlet for those who don't have anyone to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, I've experienced, with my first experience, just it come up in conversation. I try to tell like other friends that I have, and they'd be like, "Dude, ghosts aren't real."
Yeah, they shut it down.
It's like, no, like I know what I saw, man. You don't have to put me down for it, and that's what I love about what we do. Is like, you never know if that's the same stuff that the person we're interviewing is going through. They may have tried to have talked about this before, and just everyone's just shut them down. And then they see us, and we're like, we're wanting to hear your story.
Yeah.
And so they're like, finally, I can actually tell this to somebody and get it out there and not be shut down or be told that it didn't happen or whatever. So that's, as far as, investigating is really fun, and I have a great passion for it. But at the same time, being able to like let these people get their stories told and have that outlet is just, it's so amazing to be a part of that.
And see, that's something we've never had a lot of experience with. I mean, before Mandy, we were, three bearded guys from LA. No one's gonna want us into their house, and we've always just us versus the big heavy hitters, but Mandy's already found us one since joining our group. We've got a place we're going in July that they're having trouble, and we're going to get to kind of do sort of the same thing, spend some, more than one day at a location and try to solve what's happening, almost like our names, like some detectives, try to get some evidence and figure out where the source of this is, which is something we've never gotten to do, and sort of jealous that you guys get to do that fun stuff.
It doesn't always work out that way. Like, I'll be honest. There are a lot of things that we wish we could do, but it's just not feasible. Like, it's not.
Like, if you could go any location, what are just each of you? What's a dream location that you could get to and see just how haunted it is?
Me personally, Waverly Hills.
Waverly Hills. Oh, it is. Mandy's been there. I've been there. Brian, have you been there?
Nope.
I lived in Louisville for like 7 years.
Really easy for you then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Especially, I was there every Halloween. They have a haunt. So Waverly is amazing.
It's crazy.
Scotty, how about you?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think. I mean, Waverly, obviously, but there's just so many that I want to go to. Montana State Prison would be fucking awesome. Nevada State Prison would be awesome. Waverly would be awesome.
Nevada State Prison. We just went to Nevada State Prison.
Nevada State Prison is awesome.
Nevada State Prison is full. It is still packed, and it is still super dark. We have 17 hours of footage I'm working on right now of just nonstop. Literally like EVP, like just go to Nevada State Prison. You won't regret it.
I think our best experience, I mean, this is just me. Like, we had the opportunity to go to Malvern Manor.
Oh, wow.
Last January.
That was a fun one.
It was a cold motherfucker.
Well, we won't get into that because then you'll have 45 minutes.
But Josh Hurd, he is the co-owner of the location. Huge shout out to Josh.
He's great.
The guy is phenomenal. If y'all have watched the Experience Begins episode, Malvern Manor is a huge feature in that episode. He took us through a tour of the location. He educated us about the history and about the darkest hauntings that are there. We spoke to Ron Haskett. Ron Haskett's story is the main reason why we went to Malvern to begin with, because I watched his film, Answering the Call. It's a very raw documentary, but the evidence is freaking insane. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not really scary. It's just groundbreaking and like, how did you get that kind of evidence, kind of a thing?
Yeah.
And
that's actually my favorite story we've done as my paranormal.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely,
because it was just completely different approach to investigating. I just like want to throw this out there real quick. Normally when you think of like ghosts and stuff, you're like, oh, scary, woo, I'm gonna run away type shit, you know.
Yeah.
But Ron just kind of went in and just got this like loving relationship with a child's spirit, and he became kind of her father figure.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's just incredible to me because
That's
it's
awesome.
like it takes the the unliving and the living, and you can still create that bond between energies. It just shows how powerful energies can be.
a
So
real.
I just wanted to throw that out there because that's my favorite story so far that we've had the privilege of being able to tell to the world.
It
Mhm.
was, dude, that whole shoot was amazing. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do much investigating because our time there was so short.
Yeah.
Beth didn't want to go dark. I was pissed. Like, Scotty was still kind of new. So he was like, if
That was
Beth's
my
still
first
I don't want to do it.
major location.
Well, that's nothing to be afraid of or ashamed of, because literally we were all, we're three badass paranormal investigators. We did not get arm's reach out of each other for like the first few hours at Nevada State Prison. I was like, why are we staying so tight? Why are we staying back to back as like three?
Fucking scared.
It was weird though. I mean, like I didn't have very much happen to me while I was there. I even went up in the attic by myself
Mhm.
and didn't have anything happen. And that's like one of the notorious spots there for stuff to happen to people.
Yeah.
And so like I really didn't have much happen to me, but we got close to the end of our time there. And Nathan was like, okay, like, let's turn off the lights, go completely black, and go back upstairs. And I was like, I don't know why, but my heart just started racing.
Hey,
Like, he
maybe
said he could
something
even
was
hear it
right.
through my microphone.
And the thing was, I said, guys, we did not travel 12 hours to not go dark. Like, y'all are delusional if you don't think we're not going dark for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
The thing was, we got 15 minutes in the dark and our damn camera died. I was like, fuck it, we're just gonna pack up and go.
Yeah, you're all mad now at that point.
Fuck it. But the thing is, Josh is an amazing guy. We reached out to him not long ago, and he did say we could come back investigate, and we are going back, and we are gonna be like legitimately investigating the location. And we're gonna make it another feature, on my paranormal experience. So I'm really excited about that.
Good.
Cool.
Now, when
Just to
you
say,
guys go
hold
in,
on, wait. But
go ahead,
Beth, because you're a medium, your body knows what's up before you even know what's up.
that's what I'm saying. If there was a reason,
she was having a reaction to something.
Yeah, and too, I mean, like Scotty was even kind of weirded out about it too. Like,
Well, Scotty was weirded out because you're weirded out by it.
Oh,
Well, not necessarily. Beth, I trust her sensitivity abilities, feelings completely. Beth's been in the game for, I don't know, like what, 20, 25 years?
close,
And
about 2008.
oh great.
Me starting and being fresh and that being my first super known location, like, yeah, when she was like, hey, I'm scared, I was like, oh shit, me too, dude. But also at the same time, there was something off as we stayed there longer and started talking about going dark. And and
Almost like
Nathan's
something was
still
anticipating you going dark. Like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
when they go dark, we're gonna get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it weird that a sick, twisted, demented part of me, like, wants that to happen? I'm like, dude, like, if I'm not getting freaked out, like, beyond freaked out, I'm not having any fun.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not.
Now, would you
that's
say
fair,
you
that's
get
fair.
scared? Do you get scared?
Oh, absolutely. Like,
Good.
When
I get
I get
terrified.
scared, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like, my heart pounds. And the thing is, I have been physically shoved more times than I can freaking count. I've had things shoot into my chest. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. I've had more things happen to me than I can even count. But, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
Now you're a
No.
weirdo.
It's not weird. I'm the same way. I think
We're all looking for it.
Yeah.
You
It's-
want to know what you're capable of. What is your body capable of? What it mentally, physically with the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, I've been told this by several people that are very spiritual people, and for some reason, I've always been told I'm the chosen one.
Oh.
Whatever the fuck that means. I don't know, but that's what I've always been told, and I'm just like, it's very hard for me to believe that. It really, it's like, I'm like, I don't want to be the chosen one. Like, I don't want to be the chosen one. I'm just like, what do you mean by I'm the chosen one? Like, I don't get it. And they go, like, you're in this path for a reason. Like, your team and you are doing this show for a reason.
You're building toward a moment that you haven't discovered yet.
I guess so. I don't know. And I'm just like, well, I guess. I mean, I was like, I'll just let fate be fate, and I'll let fate choose what happens. So I don't know what's going on, but I've been told that by many people, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna argue. I'm just gonna let it go.
I mean, I think it should be a T-shirt.
Why are you? Well, here, read the shirt real quick.
Well, it does say it on my T-shirt.
Don't guy, because he'll wear the shirt. Like, if you say it should be a shirt, he's gonna text me, dude. We need to make that shirt happen.
Make that shirt.
Yes.
Sell it on Paraflix.
Get out of it, yeah.
I probably would.
See, that's the thing. He's like, I probably would.
Yeah. So when you guys go into these locations, like, what do you usually arm yourselves with? Are you guys, just cameras and flashlights? Are y'all spirit box? Are y'all voice recorders? Like, what's your equipment of choice?
The cameras, obviously. We film pretty much everything that we can. But we do a lot with the spirit box. That probably is our favorite piece of gear, and that's just because of the practicality of it. The user friendly. It's just, and you get so many great responses through it.
Yeah.
Like, we have a REM pod thanks to Natalie, actually. Shout out to her. She's gracious enough to let me borrow a few pieces of her own personal equipment.
Oh.
So we kind of start off with just using EVPs, either through our phones or actual digital recorders and spirit box. We just try to find the spots that are really popping. Where the spirits are like, hey, this is where I'm at, and then we'll go in with a REM pod or just a periscope or whatever.
Scotty, I'm sorry. Hold on. I just noticed a comment, man. Some guy named Chris goes, I filmed my wife pooping. Is that
Is it Johnny Depp?
help it, man?
Is his name Johnny Depp?
I cannot help
I
that.
tried to ignore it,
That's one of my homies I work with.
Oh, that's great, dude.
Hey, as long as you're gathering evidence, he's gathering evidence of something. Good job, Chris.
Hilarious, man.
The ghost of the food
My wife pooping is that weird?
It's true. It's true, he says.
That's true.
But,
Sorry, bro. I didn't cut you off.
no, you're good. You're good.
Funny, Chris, because I
After,
thing too.
after our initial run throughs with spirit boxes and stuff like that, we'll
Yeah.
kind of break out some of the bigger gear, use maybe motion detection devices or even an SLS cam. But for the most part, we kind of just go based off feeling and spirit box responses.
Yeah.
I do want to get some game cameras though,
Oh, yeah.
so I can just set them up in location and just see if
That's
you know,
smart.
where we're not at, if something can trigger them and start
Yeah.
filming.
And I was just telling Brian earlier today, I was like, what would we do if we'd never seen a ghost show? What are some things we would try? Like if we were just scientists that were trying to prove there's an invisible man in this room or there's an invisible voice in this room, what are some tricks we would use to catch reverberation or to catch movement? Always trying to come up with some new device or technique we could use as scientists, which essentially we are, just raw scientists.
Yeah, I joke and call us pseudo scientists because it's like we're scientists, but are we scientists? You know.
Yeah.
Well, it's the science that's
Personally, I think
unproven.
I'm a
You know what I
scientist, so
mean?
I'm gonna go with it.
We all have experienced something we can't explain,
Sure.
and even with the best evidence we have, it's not good enough to prove it 100%. What I always say, even a photograph of a REM pod lighting up on a table by itself is impossible. There's nothing breaking that field to make the lights go off. So there shouldn't even be able to be a photograph of an invisible contact to make a device go off. You know, a recorder in a room with no one should be silent. So how are their voices? Impossible evidence that we've gathered. You never hear like you know, the random person at home I was at home just scanning through my radio frequencies really fast and accidentally caught this voice. You know, it's always something real, a real moment.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. It's very theoretical, and you know, being in it and experiencing the things that I have experienced and continuing to experience. You know, I can understand why people don't want to believe in the paranormal or are really off to it. But at the same time, the other 50% of me is like, wake up, dude. Like, get out there and experience this stuff. It's real.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from.
Like, Brian, you remember our old intro, you know, if out of the billion cases every year, if half are fake and half are misidentification, that still leaves like this huge amount of unexplained experiences that people have, you know, with everything.
Yeah.
Math.
It's called Math. That was the Math opening we used to have. I think it's on our Paraflix shows. I didn't edit it out. I don't remember. So let's go down to this. I want my hair to stand up. What's the most terrifying single moment you have ever had in a location?
People.
People?
People. You know,
I'm not that bad.
I like that you looked up at it.
That's like the Brady Bunch. I have
the Brady Bunch.
It's pretty bad, y'all. You know, to be honest with you, I'm going to talk about Panhandle Inn for a minute. Panhandle Inn's a very, very haunted location. Beth and I got to witness something that I honestly, to this very day, it's disturbing.
I was just thinking about that situation. I was hoping you would bring it up.
It's disturbing. It's basically reliving it when I talk about it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
The only way I can describe it is it was a sound blockage. We were in a 2-story hotel, hollow, not operating. Been abandoned for decades, basically.
Yeah, since the 70s.
And we've never ran into this problem before. I was filming with another guy. You know, he was not a crew member by any means, but he was helping out, running some cameras or whatever. And Beth and 2 other people were less than probably 60 feet from us down the hallway, screaming at the top of their lungs for me, like, where are you at? Nathan, where are you at? Blah, 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 blah. Just trying to find us. And I didn't hear anything, right? I thought...
No way.
I thought they were all gone. We thought they were at the restaurant down the street kind of situation. And so I was like, we were trying to film an intro for a Halloween special that we were planning to do. And, you know, 20 minutes went by. So, you know, we probably got to go downstairs and make sure that, you know, so if the plan is, what's our game plan, blah, blah, blah. We go downstairs, and every person downstairs is like pitch white. Like they are terrified. Like they're scared. They're disturbed. They don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, it's that kind of a feeling. And I go, what? And they go, where the hell have y'all been? I went, we were upstairs the whole time. we've been screaming for y'all for like 20 minutes. Y'all weren't answering us. And like all this weird shit was happening. And I said, what was it? And Beth was like, dude, it was like being in the Twilight Zone. Like, it was like
Literally.
it was like it cut us off from you guys. Like, I'm getting chills. Like every hair of my freaking neck is stood up. Basically what it did was it manipulated my cameras, my audio, our DVR system. It cut the entire night off. Number one.
Wow.
It made it to where we couldn't even hear each other. So I get home and I try to play the audio back. And normally I'll hear when people are yelling at me or whatever from the mics. There was nothing. But yet a train 4 miles down the road is captured on my audio.
Wow.
How the hell do you... Okay, now that ain't the worst part, though. That's not the craziest part. Weeks later, the woman that is doing a review on this footage, same area the same area they were standing at, they captured the freaking hallway floor levitate. The entire hallway levitates.
It's almost, it was like somebody, like tied a string to the floor and just picked it up, and then it went back down.
Like the board.
Like it was breathing.
No, the entire floor went this.
Yeah, it's like it's breathing.
The episode is on Amazon Prime. Like, y'all can still watch the episode. I can't show you the footage. I don't want copyrights to it, but y'all would be floored.
Wow.
And the thing is, the evidence was so groundbreaking and mind-boggling that we went back like weeks later to try and debunk it.
Yeah.
There was no way we could. Everything we experienced, we tried to debunk it. There was just no way.
The wood wasn't even loose. It was just
impossible. It was impossible. Like when the floor even casts a shadow on the door as it's lifting up.
Yeah, there's sheetrock. Just like these walls have no sheetrock on them. They're just like the little slats that you can see through. Just like the half-inch slats that you can see through because all the sheetrock's just falling off. And it's just all over the floor. I mean, you crouch the whole way through the hallway.
That's
wow.
Awesome.
I mean, there's very few locations, in my opinion, that are actually like I consider living locations where the location is just a being. And that sounds like that's a place where it's literally its own, like, it's a being.
I will flat tell you, I have never in my life been the person to say, hey, I think locations can come to life, but this one literally did. It was like it was breathing for like a solid 2 seconds.
Wow.
The name of the documentary is Panhandle in Lockdown.
It's on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Like it is the best episode that's on. It's on our previous show we filmed for.
Yeah, this place is like, I mean, we're pretty for sure if it's one location with a portal, this one probably is it. I mean, every time we've ever gone there, and we've probably gone there at least 50 times.
Oh, wow.
Since we've investigated together, and every single time something happens.
That's probably why it gave you such good evidence. Just like getting used to each other, locations get used to you. Oh, yeah. And they probably either wanted to get rid of you or they were comfortable enough to show themselves, Like, you want to see our power? Check this out.
It was the one and only time we've ever seen anything like that before.
I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, when you watch that footage, man, you're going to shit yourself. I'm not even kidding you.
I am ready.
Get that toilet paper
ready, like Chris Grosnickle.
Get that shit paper ready because it's getting never mind. Just that's anything. Well, guys, I'm gonna be honest. I'm about to have to get off here because I have to go to work in the morning.
Yes, we probably do too. Guys, fantastic! Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Great show.
Thank you guys
for having us.
Yeah, thank you. This is great.
And thanks for doing what you do, and thanks for. Just like us, just like you, Paraflix family, trying to create something and being a part of something fresh and having faith in Natalie and faith in Paraflix. And thank you guys.
Oh, definitely, man. Thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
All right. We'll have you back on whenever you can.
Absolutely.
So maybe
Sounds
we'll
good.
got more stories. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, what great
was great.
stories.
I gotta go video.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna watch that as soon as I can. You guys, another amazing week. We are at, what is it, week 19? Next
don't
week
even
is
know
our
anymore.
20th. 20 weeks in a row we've been coming on here. What, Brian?
We should have a 20th anniversary episode.
We should have a 20th week anniversary episode.
Let's
I think we
celebrate.
are. Oh, so Brian, I don't know if I've told you, next week's episode will be on a Tuesday. And I'm going to announce right now, if you're a fan of the Boggy Creek Monster, if you're a fan of Bigfoots, cryptids, skinwalkers, the Mothman, we're going to have Lyle Blackburn on next week.
Yay.
Huge. Like, I was telling Frank,
Yes.
like, I can't think of, other than Matt Moneymaker being in charge of BFRO or someone like Bobo who's been on TV more, I don't think there's a bigger cryptid specialist than Lyle Blackburn.
I'm
so,
excited to talk all things weird.
Yeah. And it'll be something different for us. We can get our Bigfoot questions out. So, Brian, be ready for that. It's going to be Bigfoot time. Got all my squatches behind me.
Hey, do you remember when you almost bought that like 10-foot tall Bigfoot?
You know what? I never even posted those pictures.
No, you didn't.
I
That
forget.
would have made a great like front
Oh,
yard.
On the road. Oh, it's still there. I still have her business card. For anybody to watch
go
our
there.
Instagram, I'll try to post it tonight. When we were coming back from Nevada State Prison, we stopped and saw a giant metal Sasquatch sculpture, and it was only $2,000, which, you know, isn't too much, but it's $2,000 extra dollars is kind of hard to come by.
But the best part was her antique store was haunted.
Yes, and maybe
So-
we'll stop by there on the if we ever go back to Nevada State Prison. Once again, everybody watching, please join our Patreon. Just $1 a month can make this little hobby become this big job for us. Patreon pays for this show. It pays for this monthly program. We got to pay to bring you this weekly paranormal podcast so you can see all the ghosts, all the cryptids, all the aliens, all the fun stuff, you know. And
Hear
you
all
know
the
what? To hear all the stories. You know what? Maybe I'll reach out to Earl so we can go straight from cryptids back to aliens the next week. Have Earl
Yes.
back. I think he's scratching. So
Yes.
everybody, we will be at Vulture City Paracon in October. Look up that. We will also, I don't know if it's official, we'll be at Virginia City Paracon in September. Come out and meet HPD. We have got the Kia Mill, our newest episode featuring Mandy Maisie and Brian and our good friend from Three Girls in the Dark, Emily Kirkpatrick, right now on Paraflix. Follow that link tree in all social media. Join Paraflix. Use promo code HPD10 at checkout to get 10% off, and you can watch the Kia Mill and My Paranormal Experience, Nathan and the crew, the stuff you just saw. Get your HPD merch on our Teespring. Follow us on all the social media. Bing, bang, boom. And I think that's about it, you guys.
I think you covered it.
Say goodnight, Brian.
Good night, Brian.